Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. Today it's a Korean latest horror movie, 4 minutes and 44 seconds, and this one actually comprises of many short stories that are happening one night around an apartment complex. The stories are indirectly connected, and for a quick watch of only 44 minutes you can watch this one. On top of that, if you're new to my channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It is free for you and it is something that helps me out a lot. There is also a second recap video right after this one, so make sure to watch this video till end. And now sit back and relax as I recap 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So the first story is named ASMR. Near an apartment building, we see a security guard looking for something. Then the scene goes at the apartment 204. Inside, around midnight, a girl, let's just call her Alice, is wrapping up a present for her boyfriend for their first anniversary. Then she goes to sleep. She has prepared a red dress for today, and out of excitement, she was unable to doze off. That's why she puts an ASMR sleep hypnosis video. A guy in the video then guides her to dream world and she falls asleep. But then around 4:44 a.m., Alice experiences sleep paralysis. She wakes up and she cannot move her body. It obviously terrifies her, but then suddenly, someone, a man, enters her room. The man looks at her from the side of her bed and Alice suddenly sees a pair of scissors in her hands. Her body is forced to cut her throat with the scissors and she tries to stop herself, but it was no use. The man in the room was saying stuff like how her sacrifice will make that person stronger. We don't know who that person is, but whatever the man says ends up making Alice unalive herself. There was blood everywhere and then the man drags her body away. Now there is a possibility that Alice was actually imagining herself with a pair of scissors, but in real life it could very well be that man who used those scissors to murder her. Other than this, the man claims something about that person. We don't know who that person is yet, but we will find out. The second story is named Express Delivery. This story begins with a woman, let's just call her Becky, who's writing a horror novel. She's writing about a scene where an evil delivery man comes to murder people, but she was unable to focus on her work because her daughter, Enzi, was continuously playing with her ball. It makes Becky mad enough that she leaves her chair and goes to scold Enzi. In that hassle, a potted plant gets knocked over as well, and at that same time there's a delivery man at the door saying there's an express delivery, but Becky just tells him to put that box by the door since she hasn't ordered anything and the time was too early to receive any delivery. Becky then continues to scold Enzi and sends her in her room. She cleans the mess, but the delivery guy calls again. Becky ignores him, but he calls again one more time, and this time she goes in fury to scold the guy at the door, but as soon as she opens the door, the delivery guy stabs her brutally. Meanwhile, Enzi is in her room playing on her own when she hears clatter coming from outside. She goes to check and her house is now shrouded in darkness. Her mother is nowhere to be found, and then there's a knock on the door. Enzi goes to check, but no one is outside for a moment, and then suddenly an evil eye appears and scares the shit out of her. Next, blood starts seeping into her room from under the door, which belonged definitely to Becky. Enzi now can't even move in fear, and in the end, the same man shows up behind her playing with the ball. And of course, he unalives Becky as well. But here is the twist. This is the same guy who unalived Alice in the first story. The third story is called Noise Between Layers, and it's about a guy named Alex who lives in the apartment right below Becky's. He can't sleep cause Enzi, the little girl upstairs, keeps bouncing her ball and she was making a ton of noise. Alex puts up with it for a while, but eventually he gets so fed up that he storms upstairs to complain. He knocks on the door, rings the bell, but no one answers. Then when he checks, the door was already open, which was weird. Alex walks in and sees the whole place is dark and empty, which confuses him because someone was clearly just playing with the ball. He wanders around and ends up in one of the bedrooms where he was shocked to find the dead bodies of Becky and Enzi on the bed. Suddenly, Enzi's ball starts bouncing on its own behind him, and Alex takes off running, trying to save himself. He rushes back to his apartment and quickly calls the cops, but before he can say anything, the call cuts off. Something clearly evil is going on. Then all the doors around him slam shut on their own, and Enzi's ball rolls towards him, bouncing by itself. Terrified, Alex locks himself in his bedroom, but soon someone starts pounding on the door. He starts screaming, crying, and the lights begin to flicker, and then suddenly, Becky and Enzi's corpses appear right on his bed. Alex then just screams and screams until something demonic unalives him as well. Now the fourth story is called Second-Hand Trading, and it begins with a guy named Hyun-jung using an app late at night called Second-Hand Trading. He finds a listing for a free electric scooter and messages the guy right away. The owner replies instantly and tells Hyun-jung to come meet him near the apartment building security room, and it was the same building we've been seeing in other stories. Hyun-jung gets excited and soon gets ready and heads out. But once he reaches the security room, he gets a message telling him to go to the alley behind the building instead. Now he goes there, but V notices the wall of the security room which has a poster of missing people on it, meaning folks have been disappearing in that area lately. Anyway, in the alley, Hyun-jung gets a FaceTime call from his girlfriend and he tells her about his whereabouts. But for a split second, she sees something moving behind him. Hyun-jung doesn't notice and instead spots the scooter left under a street light. He hangs up and walks over to grab it, but just then, the lights go out. He turns on his phone's flashlight and gets the eerie feeling that someone is nearby, and soon, he sees a man sitting behind a tree, but he was dead and there was an evil girl eating his corpse. Hyun-jung now freezes in terror and the girl attacks him. He instantly runs into the woods to save himself, but unfortunately he trips and falls, and the girl catches up to him and literally eats him alive. Now in the end, you see, Hyun-jung was wearing a yellow cap, and after he dies, that same cap shows up as a listing on the second-hand trading app, meaning whatever demon this is, it's now using the app to lure more people toward the apartment building. The fifth story is called No Feeding, and it starts with a girl named Mina who goes out back behind the apartment building to throw out the trash. There's a sign that says feeding cats is not allowed, but Mina ignores it and goes ahead to leave food for the strays. When she gets there, she notices that the cat bowls are filled with blood. She gets freaked out and suddenly she sees a woman acting completely demonic, hiding behind the garbage, and she was literally eating the cats. That woman notices Mina and immediately attacks her. Mina runs for her life and ends up bumping into the building security guard. She tells him everything, and the guard hides her in a room while he goes to check things out. The room Mina is hiding in turns out to be an old security guard room. She tries to use the phone inside, but it was broken. Then, the evil woman shows up outside the room and tries to force the door open. Mina holds it shut with all her strength, and eventually the woman disappears. But right after that, the security guard returns. Mina opens the door and she was relieved. She asks him if the woman is gone, but then suddenly, the guard's smile slowly fades, and right in front of him, the evil woman shows up. The woman then rushes in and attacks Mina while guard shuts the door behind her. That's when we realize the guard is actually working with that demonic force. Mina dies, and now the guard is seen searching under the cars, trying to lure more cats, probably to use them for the next sacrifice. Now the sixth story is called Shared House. It's about two college girls who live together. One of them, Christine, has just moved in that morning to live with a girl named Claire. Christine looks around the apartment and tries to start a conversation, but Claire snaps at her, saying that she values her privacy. Then later, after freshening up in the bathroom, Christine overhears Claire talking on the phone, gossiping about her and saying mean things. Christine then feels awful, but then Claire catches her keeps dropping and scolds her again. A bit later, Christine decides she's not going to be intimidated, so she heads out to the kitchen to make something to eat. But the moment she opens the fridge, she was horrified to see it's full of blood and raw meat, either animal or human, she was not even sure. Claire then walks in and she casually takes out some of the meat and blood and places it on the table like it's totally normal. She also had a list of house rules taped on the wall, one of which was take care of each other and be good friends. Then Christine calls her out on not following her own rules, but then things get worse. Claire was literally eating the raw meat right in front of her. Christine gets nauseous and runs to the bathroom to throw up, and she calls her teacher saying that she cannot live with Claire anymore. But then the teacher drops a bomb. Claire hasn't even moved into the apartment yet. Hearing this news, Christine's entire body gets cold, and this means the girl outside isn't Claire, it's something else entirely. And sure enough, that evil girl shows up in the bathroom, and of course, she ends up unaliving Christine. Now the seventh story is called Test the Courage. It starts with a guy named Ji-ho and his two friends Hyuk and Jong-woo. Jong-woo actually lives in the apartment building where all this is taking place, and that night his two friends come over to do a courage test challenge. Lately, people have been going missing from this apartment complex, so Ji-ho and Hyuk wanted to try out one of those viral internet bravery challenges. Jong-woo wasn't really into it though. Still, his friends dragged him along towards a nearby mountain trail. And the whole way there, Jong-woo kept mocking him for acting like kids. Then on their way, the three of them came across a red bag, and inside it, there was a t-shirt and NZ's ball. Ji-ho and Hyuk get excited about the mysterious stuff, but Jong-woo just gets annoyed and starts walking back home. That's when suddenly, the camera cuts out, and some evil force attacks Hyuk and Ji-ho, unaliving them instantly. Now here was something to notice. Hyuk was wearing a white jacket, and in the fourth story, Hyunjung had found a body behind a tree, someone who was wearing that same exact jacket. So basically in the fourth story, the body Hyunjung found was Hyuk's body. Anyway, back to Jong-woo, who was walking back home, but on the way, someone throws NZ's ball at him. Freaking out, he starts running faster and ends up bumping into the security guard. The guard doesn't say anything to him, and Jong-woo keeps walking. But then suddenly he gets a call from Ji-ho. He picks up, but Ji-ho doesn't say anything on phone, and instead, Jong-woo starts hearing his own voice, meaning Ji-ho's phone was nearby and on speaker. So he follows the sound of his own voice and ends up in the same old security guard room where Mina was unalived in the fifth story. Then inside he finds Ji-ho's phone, but then suddenly the security guard shows up and shoves Jong-woo into the room. At this point, it was clear that the guard is completely under the demon's control. Jong-woo was horrified when he saw the guard's face, but then suddenly a thick black smoke starts to materialize behind him, and from inside the smoke, an evil entity emerges and brutally kills Jong-woo. The guard then bows his head in front of the entity, and just like that, the entity disappears. But it was now obvious that the guard is working for the demon. Now the final story, the eighth story, is called Empty House. It starts with a real estate agent who brings her friend to the same apartment building to show her a vacant unit. The agent tells her friend to take some pictures and explains that if she decides to move in, she should keep to herself because something strange has been happening in the building lately. Apparently due to that, the value of the apartment has dropped. Now the friend walks into one of the rooms to take pictures, but she suddenly freezes because there was this huge black stain on the wall. The agent comes in too, and she was shocked as well. She assumes that maybe a heater had exploded or something like that, but the stain honestly looks demonic. It even has an eye on it. Then the agent gets a call and she steps out to answer it, but when she comes back, her friend is gone and only her phone is lying on the floor. The agent picks up the phone phone and starts checking it, totally unaware that the black stain on the wall has grown larger. Inside the phone, she finds a bunch of photos of her friend, and as the agent is going through them, the lights begin to flicker, and then she sees some seriously creepy pictures of her friend, which makes her freak out, but at the same time the lights go out. Then in the darkness, that same creepy security guard appears in front of her. She asks him how he got there, but before anything else happens, that black stain on the wall turns into smoke, and the smoke grabs her. The agent floats into the air, and right then, a evil force emerges from the smoke and possesses her. Finally, the demon is inside a human body, and the agent speaks in the demonic voice that she's ready. And after that, she walks deeper into the apartment building, and we hear a lot of screaming coming from throughout the place, and this is where the movie ends. So now here is what I think the movie is trying to say, that security guard, maybe he summoned some kind of demon into our world, and that demon needed sacrifice to grow stronger. That's why throughout the movie, the demon and the god keeps killing people. The demon either devours them or possesses them, and in the end, it fully enters the agent's body. Now the demon is ready to cause chaos all over the building. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So this was the recap video of the movie, 4 minutes 44 seconds. But now, I'm about to explain a evil Japanese series, Noroi wo Ageru, which means let the curse rise. It's about 9 friends who return to their school for a reunion but ends up being hunted by a deadly curse. Now this series is really short, around an hour to an hour and a half long. There are 10 episodes in total and each one is only 5 minutes long. But so far only 5 episodes have been released, so today I'll be breaking down those first 5 episodes. Once the remaining episodes are out, I'll recap them as well. The series is creepy and evil, and you can watch this on my Telegram channel. As well as if you're new to my channel, so hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It is free for you and it is something that helps me out a lot. And now without further ado, let's dive into the story of Noroi wo Ageru. So the story begins with a girl named Ryoko who is running through her old school's hallway late at night, clearly terrified and trying to escape something. She stops for a moment, but just then, this horrifying spirit appears behind the gate she came from. Ryoko starts running again, trying to save her life, and as she's running, we see a flashback of what happened earlier that night. Ryoko and a bunch of her old school friends had met up at a bar for a reunion. During this reunion, a girl named Hikari suggested that everyone should go back to their old school for fun. Everyone agreed, and that's what brought them here. But now, it's also the reason Ryoko's running for her life. While escaping, Ryoko then runs into one of her friends, Yumiko. She tells Yumiko everything, and Yumiko tells her to go back to the classroom where everyone else is gathering to talk. Yumiko meanwhile says she's going to look around for others. Ryoko runs towards the classroom and Yumiko goes off in another direction. Then we flash back again to a little earlier when Ryoko had walked out near the school's auditorium. Back then, a creepy incident had happened. Out of a statue's head fell off behind her on its own. Ryoko picked it up and put it back, but suddenly a terrifying ghostly girl appeared behind her and a weird symbol showed up on Ryoko's leg. Cut back to another scene, we see that Ryoko is cornered near a gate with that same evil spirit approaching from the other side. It is hard to tell which part of the timeline this movement belongs to, but now we go back to the present where Ryoko reaches the classroom and she was shocked. Yumiko is lying there dead in the middle of the group. That's when it hits Ryoko and us viewers that the Yumiko she saw in the hallway earlier wasn't actually alive. It was her ghost. Now we jump back to the bar scene again where everyone was talking about their lives and we get introduced to all the friends one by one. There's a guy named Gumpi, a girl named Fubuki, Yumiko who's already dead, a girl named Mishimura, a guy named Shun, a another guy named Kenta, a girl named Nana, and a girl named Hikari, the one who suggested going to the school. Turns out, Hikari has some kind of jealousy towards Ryoko, but we will learn more about this later. The last friend is Waka Bayashi, and initially, Ryoko didn't want to go to school, but cause of peer pressure, she gave in. Once they get to the school, they all go to the auditorium and start playing basketball. Ryoko doesn't join in since she's too drunk, so she goes and sits off in a corner and she ends up dozing off. When Ryoko wakes up, she realizes all her friends have left the auditorium without her. That's when she stepped outside and saw the statue's head fall off on its own. She puts the head back on, and ever since then all the paranormal stuff started happening. Now Ryoko is explaining all this to Shun in one of the classroom in the prison, and during their conversation, she suddenly remembers something from the past. Apparently a long time ago, a girl jumped off the school's auditorium roof and died. Ever since then, her cursed spirit started haunting the school. That's why the statue was placed outside the auditorium to keep her spirit calm. But tonight, Ryoko may have accidentally broken it, and now the spirit is furious. The weird part though is that Ryoko, if she broke the statue, so why the spirit unlike Yumiko first? That just didn't make any sense. And Nana overhears all of this while standing near the classroom door, and she starts panicking. Then a flashback reveals the truth. While everyone was playing basketball earlier, the ball had rolled near the statue and Nana went to retrieve it. That's when she accidentally broke the statue, and she did put the head back on, but technically she was the one who damaged it, not Ryoko. Now Nana is terrified, realizing the spirit might be after her as well, but even so, it's still unclear why Yumiko was the first one to be killed. Just then Ryoko and Shun spot Nana and try to approach her, but she freaks out and runs away. They chase after her, but right at that moment, everyone hears Fubuki scream. Fubuki have found Wakabayashi's dead body, so now two people are dead and both have weird markings on their necks after dying. All the remaining friends regroup in the classroom, completely confused and scared about what's happening. Fubuki explains that she saw Wakabayashi running from someone, and by the time she reached him, he was already dead. Nana, now in total panic, runs out of the classroom like she's lost her mind, and that's when Hikari starts suggesting that maybe one of them is the killer. After all, only the 9 of them are in the school and no one else. She accuses Fubuki first, pointing out that Fubuki found both dead bodies, which makes her suspicious. Fubuki obviously hates this, saying that she will find out who's really doing this. Fubuki's plan was that she will go investigate alone while the rest stay in the classroom. That way, if she dies, they will know that the killer is Nana, who was already outside the room, but no one was comfortable letting Fubuki go alone, so they all end up following her, except Hikari and Ryoko, who stay behind. Then, Shun runs after Fubuki and tries to calm her down, telling her not to take Hikari's word to heart. And as they were talking, Shun suddenly sees the evil spirit inside Fubuki. Now back in class, Hikari and Ryoko start arguing, and the scene flashes back to when they were talking in the restroom in the bar. That's when we find out that both of them used to like Kenta back in school, and Kenta actually had a thing with both of them. Even after all these years, Hikari still holds a grudge, while Ryoko insists that she doesn't even like Kenta anymore. Anyway, in the present, the evil spirit ends up killing Shun as well, and then the story jumps back to the past where we finally understand who that spirit really is. In the past, we meet a girl named Miyoko and her best friend Kuromi. Both girls were head over heels for a guy named Shota, and eventually their friendship broke cause of him. Miyoko tries to explain to Kuromi that Shota doesn't love her, he only loves Miyoko, but Kuromi tells her she doesn't care, and she sends Miyoko to the rooftop, saying Shota is waiting there for her. Miyoko goes up and meets Shota, and they confess their feelings and hug each other. But suddenly, Shota turns demonic and says he's sick of their little love triangle and that he only ever loved Kuromi. Miyoko was horrified and then Shota pushes her off the rooftop, unaliving her brutally. Turns out Kuromi saw the whole thing from the classroom, meaning this was their plan all along to get Miyoko out of the picture. So basically it's Miyoko's spirit that has been haunting the school. Now back in present, everyone is standing around the three dead bodies in the classroom and Fubuki is crying over Shun's corpse because they were actually dating. Hikari once again accuses Fubuki of being the unaliver since she's the one who found the body again. Ryoko steps in and explains the whole curse situation, that how she accidentally broke the statue, but Hikari doesn't buy any of it and blames the Ryoko for the murders now. Kenta steps up to defend Ryoko and suddenly the entire group starts turning on each other. Some think it's an unaliver among them. Others believe in the ghost story and the tension just explodes. Overwhelmed, Nana runs out of the room again and Nishimura chases after her. Everyone is scared now because someone is clearly unaliving them one by one, and that's where the 5th episode ends. So this was the recap video on the series Noro wo Ageru, and I hope you have liked this video. If you have, then please subscribe the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I really need your support to grow further. If you want to watch the 5 episodes of this series, go join my Telegram channel. The link is in the description box. If the link does not work, just go to Telegram and put my channel's name in the search bar. How and when you can find it on Telegram will be revealed on the channel, so go join that. I am mostly active on Insta, so go follow me there as well. And don't worry, I will bring the next 5 episodes as soon as they're released. Also look into my other channel where we discuss about the mysteries of the world. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake, cause they always see you.